You are now listening to the Friends of Rugby podcast. Relax your anus. Balls. Thick thighs. Camille Shat. Where's his neck? Eddie Jones. You're fucked, mate. We're nice now.
And we are recording.
Hell yeah.
Frank, how you doing?
Hi, Stephen.
How was your weekend?
Really busy weekend. So I didn't watch all of the games live. And then I was coaching you playing rugby. Little game of tens.
I showed up late, played for 10 minutes, and the game ended.
Solid tackle though. Yeah, how was your weekend?
It was good. Showed up to rugby, and then I found out we didn't have enough players, so there was tens.
Yeah, 4 injuries in 20 minutes for our team.
And
that was rough.
Tens fucking sucks. There was just so much space.
It's horrible. And all the other team were like a bunch of kids who are way fitter than our guys.
Yeah.
So they're just running rings around us.
These young kids running real fast. I was like, oh.
Yeah. No, it looked miserable.
That one guy just got like a big run, and he was running towards me, and I'm like, not today. And I literally got out of his way. I got out of his way because I was just like, I'm not putting my body on the line because we'd already
defaulted because we didn't have enough guys.
Yeah.
So there's nothing on the line here.
Just like walked out of the way.
Yeah. I said to a bunch of the guys, if you want to try any mad stuff, crossfield kicks, backflips, today's the day. Give it a spin.
I like how I told everyone I was going to be late because I was watching rugby.
I'm honestly
like, sorry
policy,
guys.
Right?
Sorry guys. I have to watch.
He's solving a hunger crisis in a faraway land.
Something unrelated to rugby.
Yeah.
On my weekend. You know the movie Gladiator?
Yeah.
You seen it?
Yeah, of course I have. Several times. Yeah, I love it.
It's every guy's favorite movie.
The Now We Are Free, I just play that sometimes when I'm working.
So, the new trailer for Gladiator 2 came
Where are
out.
you fucking going with this?
This is
I better be going somewhere with this.
Yeah, I am. It's totally not related to rugby. I just thought about it. I just need to bring it up.
I heard Russell Crowe is not happy.
So the new trailer for the sequel came out, and it was like on YouTube, and I saw it. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna click on this. I'm gonna see what this is all about. And it starts showing Gladiator stuff, people fighting and shit, and then all of a sudden, the music in the trailer, Jay-Z and Kanye West start rapping.
Oh, I did see that
in the trailer.
Yeah, people weren't happy about it, were they?
It's just like instant red flags come up. I was like, oh gosh. I was like,
yeah, I know.
I was like, fuck.
I think, it's not so much that I've seen a bunch of like medieval or whatever, historical films that have used modern music, and it has worked, right? But the thing is, they had such a good soundtrack that was like, it felt part of the aesthetic of the time, that to just go, fuck that, let's do hip hop. Like it was jarring.
You could do it for like a movie like 300.
Yeah.
Some kind of like...
Yeah, like some heavy metal music.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they do it even in more serious historical films. But
it's just weird.
As long as you start on that note, it's fine. But because they had such a banging soundtrack with Gladiator 1, it's like, can't we just have that weird lady doing Roman hymns again? That was pretty cool.
No, you're going to have Kanye West. Easy.
Yeah. Yeah, of all the people to get as well, the disgraced Kanye West.
Anyways, so besides that, going into Gladiator 2.
Do you know what? I'm actually glad you brought that up now.
Yeah.
It was unrelated, but whatever.
Yeah, people are going to want to know at home. They're like, oh shit, oh no. Yeah, Gladiator 2's in trouble.
It looks good. I'm going to watch it.
Yeah, to me, it just looks like it's going to be like all visual effects. It's all spectacle and like zero story.
Good.
Like they just want like, it's like, okay, we'll have him fight a tiger. No, we'll have him fight 10 tigers, and we'll have swords strapped to the tigers and lasers coming out. Because like that, when Kanye West and Jay-Z started rapping in the trailer, I was expecting Vin Diesel to come out, throw his shades on the middle of the arena. This is
my tiger family.
This is my tiger family. That's what I was expecting.
And then the Tiger King comes out the other gate. Howdy, y'all.
Something like that. Yeah. Yeah, but anyways, but I watched, got up in the middle of the night, watched the game, got up in the morning, watched the games. Exciting. Man, we were blessed.
Yeah, it was a good weekend of rugby. We should say that.
Only negative thing I have to say about the, man, we got shorted without having a third test.
I think Australia would have won a third test because their momentum is starting to build now. And I think I would have loved to have seen another South African Island game.
I think the whole world would have.
And I think New Zealand would have won a third test though. So I only want to see a third island South Africa.
Well, let's talk about the first game.
Right.
Let's get into the first game of the weekend.
All right. You put the thumb screws on me last week.
The first blockbuster.
Yeah. Do you know what I'm calling it? The Battle of the Crossfield Kicks.
England, New Zealand.
Yeah.
Now, first of all, I want to say that this game, even though there was some drama with the reffing, this game was a lot better reffed than the last game.
Yeah.
The last game, I considered that England lost that game because of the reffing.
Okay, yeah.
This game, I didn't think there was some shitty calls.
Yeah.
But fuck, England got to feel bad about this one.
I think they've got justification to feel a bit shitty about both of those.
They came out the gate hot. England came out the gate hot.
Yeah.
And just put a beat down on New Zealand. Like literally in the first half of the game, New Zealand just couldn't get anything together.
No. They looked shell-shocked again. And they were all like, oh, we figured out your defense doesn't fucking look like it in that first 20 minutes. Like,
and this game was fucking crazy. Like both teams were like trying to cheat as much as they possibly fucking could.
Yeah.
There was like no respect. Like the line out and Maro Toji in the line out, he was just like all over it. No matter if he can get his hands, legs, like fucking head, anywhere he was grabbing, like he was doing whatever he could to fuck that line out and line out up, and it was working.
Yeah,
it was working.
If you don't call it, you're playing good rugby, right?
Yeah, and I love the dynamic between like how New Zealand was like just pumping the scrum, and England was pumping the line out, and then in the middle they're just like fucking all over each other. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, it was.
It was like a UFC fight.
Yeah, it was like one guy's good at standing, the other guy's good at ground wrestling.
Yeah, and then England did the cardinal sin that you're not supposed to do with the All Blacks. You can't just like beat the All Blacks up all game and leave them within like leave the score close.
No, that was uncharacteristic, wasn't it? Like they had several chances because Marcus Smith was actually obviously heard what I said and had a hell of a game.
Well, I think the 2 tries came off of advantages, so they just took chances. Yeah, and otherwise, anything England was putting towards New Zealand, they just soaked up. Yeah, they just stopped. England's like their offense, their attack is just it's boring. Like there's just nothing to it. They're just throwing balls at each other's and just like running into contact. Yeah. There was just no, it felt like there was just every time England had the ball. Yeah. Like, they had the strength and power to like push forward, but there was just nothing creative, nothing dangerous coming out of it. Nothing like that was going to like surprise the All Blacks. Yeah. And then when the All Blacks got the ball, when they like, because they barely had the ball, they'd march down the field. Yeah. In like a few passes. They're already in like in the 5. Yeah. Their backs are fast though. Their whole team is just very fast. When they brought Bowden, he saved them. When he brought Bowden, he saved them. The game changed when they brought Bowden in. I think he won the game for him. Yeah. Genuinely. The whole tempo, the whole speed of them, like, and then England were fucking tired. Yeah. They just faded, and you can see it like. Yeah, you can see them. They're just slowly dying, and I'm like, oh my god, they're gonna. And then eventually, now they're in a position where they have to try to crawl back. Yeah, like you can't let New Zealand stay in a tight score game. No, you got to take your 3 points every single time. You got to get points like whenever you're in their zone, you have to walk away with points. Otherwise, like if you give them, if there's an opening for them to like come back, they'll do it. Yeah, they will, and they did. Like they have a winning record against every team, I think, in the world, and there's a reason for that. I will say in England's defense, I didn't feel in either test that New Zealand were going to run away with it. For everything you've said, when you're trying to, me too. I didn't think. I thought England in both tests. I thought they were the better team in both tests. That's right. When you like you've ever had a pet mouse or a pet gerbil or something, and you're trying to hold it in your hand, and it just runs out the side and runs up your arm, and your whole was trying to bring it back into your hand. Mm-hmm. That's what it feels like playing against New Zealand, right? You're always just trying to pull them back from running away forever with that scoreline. Yeah. Because if you give them an inch, they're scoring 20 points on you or something, right? Yeah. Just from running in tries from everywhere. And I feel like in both tests, I don't want to say England brought them down to their level. I do think it was 2 evenly matched teams.
And I think maybe New Zealand have lost a shade of what they used to be able to do, which was just run in tries from everywhere.
I think the defenses of like around the globe have just gotten so
They
good.
have gotten so much better.
And it's because of the All Blacks,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They're like, how do we stop this attacking rugby,
Yeah.
right? So like all these other teams just have just been focusing on defense so much. Like the defense in rugby now is especially in test rugby,
Yeah.
like it is.
There's no space out
It's
there
like a
at all, is
solid
there?
wall.
There's no space
Like you just
out
need
there.
a mirror. Like tries don't come like
Yeah.
unless you're New Zealand, like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you. The days of like them, I don't know. They could still run amok though.
But I'm sure they will against other teams, but it's not against England. It's not going to be against Ireland. It's not going to be against France. It's not going to be against South Africa. I'm really interested to see how Australia fare against those two teams now. But to stay with that game, I am starting to see what New Zealand are trying to do now. When you were saying England don't look very creative in attack, yeah, they're doing the same old thing, right? It's like a couple of pods, then try and swing it right wide. And it's not even pods that are moving in any specific direction to stretch, right? It's just bang up the middle a few times and hope the backs can figure something out. There's no like loop plays or anything too tricky from the 10. And Marcus Smith is known for breaking the line. And he had a really good game, I thought. On the flip side, though, New Zealand have figured out how to get around those kind of defenses. And it wasn't working every time.
No.
But I can really see what they're trying to do. And it does rely on speed. Right, it does rely on getting that ball out real quick, and just if you're using a forward pod or two, making sure you're going well beyond the gain line, so they're resetting while you've already flinged out wide. Right.
So like, I think the world's figured out that blitz defense is really effective against the All Blacks.
Yeah.
The downside to that is it's really effective. Like we've seen the teams that play blitz defense against the All Blacks, they really struggle.
Yeah.
The downside, it's so cardio taxing.
Yeah.
It drains these teams because you got to be right off the line every time, sprinting off the line over and over and over
and
again.
If they go over 20 phases, that's you done for the game, isn't it?
Yeah.
You are fucking gassed.
Yeah,
Like,
and it happened. You could see it. Like England were just flying off the line, flying off the line, and then at 60 minutes they were fucking toast.
yeah, they were.
Every one of those players were just fucking heavy breathing, tired.
Yeah.
It's kind of like almost like the All Blacks rope-a-doped them. You know, like just let them, like they just let England punch the shit out of them.
Yeah.
And then as soon as England got tired, they just like bam, 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 bam.
Yeah.
And man, and also a thing that I think maybe England may have underestimated, and I think the whole world too, is New Zealand's power game.
I say this often. People, it's a myth that they're not physical. It's a myth that their scrum is shit. They're all of the things they do them well. Every single thing. The problem is when they come up against South Africa, who are extremely physical, they can lose that battle physically sometimes, but they can go toe-to-toe with anyone in the scrum.
Because because I think a lot of people, even I thought England were going to power through New Zealand.
Yeah.
'Cause I honestly thought that England were going to win these two test matches.
Yeah.
That they were going to go there and they were going to like just power. They were going to like power over New Zealand, not like crumble them, but
Just
beat them by a
out-muscle them,
few
right?
points. But I thought they were going to outmuscle them.
Yeah.
And they didn't.
No. And I think that comes down to good planning by New Zealand, right? They knew England are going to come with a little bit of a one-dimensional plan, and that's just beat the shit out of them. And they can take that. They're not scared of that, right? And I think the thing with New Zealand is no one knew what to expect. So when they started trying their things, England were like, we didn't know you were going to do that, right?
And this is good for Scott Robertson too, to have the two, because these were two really tough test matches for him.
Yeah. Baptism of fire.
His first, like it was his first 2 days on the job. His first 2 games on the job, are against England.
Yeah,
and for these All Blacks to take those 2 wins and then go into the Rugby Championship with that, they're gonna be flying high. They're gonna feel good. They're gonna have a lot of confidence going into the next games.
Yeah. I think they know how to beat South Africa now. They've seen what South Africa are doing in their game plan against Ireland. And I still think New Zealand have enough mystery and enough nous to be harder to read. Their game plan is there, but they could do lots of different things with the talent they've got. South Africa are trying to expand their game their attacking game, right?
Yeah.
Committing less guys to the rucks. There's more guys available in their attacking line. And they've got some really fast wingers, but they're still not a team well known for exciting back moves, are they?
No, and you could see in these last 2 test matches, they were really trying to like get it out wide.
Yeah, and it's a gamble, isn't
Play
it?
more an expansive game.
Yeah,
Play with the ball more.
yeah,
Passing it all over the fucking place.
yeah.
You could see that, and it wasn't completely working out because you could see that when you watch like the South African media,
Yeah.
they were really critical of this
Yeah.
change. Like, we need to go back to what we know. We need to go back to what we love.
Yeah, yeah.
And stuff. And I always, what was I gonna say here? Yeah, I think it's gonna work. I think it's dangerous.
I think it reminds me already of South Africa's last 2 World Cup cycles, where in the middle they try some shit out, and by the time the World Cup comes around, it's kind of perfected. So I don't think they'll feel too bad about. I don't think the management and the staff will feel too bad about that game. Anyway, we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah,
because let's stick
to. But back to New Zealand. Yeah, I agree with you. I think the Boks have a little bit to be worried about after seeing the All Blacks like front up there.
Yeah,
and,
they do.
And just toe to toe with England in the power game.
Yeah.
They're a tough team, and these 2 teams were fucking smashing each other.
They were. Adi Surveyor, I don't know how he does it. That guy's got like a fucking jet engine in his stomach or something. Like, he just flies through people. I don't mean it even in a dangerous way. Even when he's on his feet properly in a ruck or he's clearing out, like, he just goes through the biggest bastards you've seen, Guy's some fucking engine.
Yeah, I love that leg drive.
Oh, I know. It's monstrous, isn't it?
It must amp the whole team up to see him do that.
Yeah.
The thing about the game too, the lackluster ending, I thought the maul at the end.
Oh,
I thought that was kind of shitty call. I think England got hard done by there.
Yeah, I thought it was collapsed.
I thought it was collapsed too, because when the All Black players are like falling or diving into the feet and the maul collapses, I was like, oh, this is definitely a penalty try right here. And then the refs are like, oh, look at this guy, like fucking Jamie George, and I forget who was with him. I forget who was with him on the that went in over the line with Jamie George there. But I thought they weren't even going to look at that. I thought they were going to be more concerned about New Zealand collapsing the maul. Yeah. And then they were like, they didn't even fucking, wasn't even a thought in their mind.
No, I even felt like Nick Berry was a bit tired by the end because, when the maul got going in New Zealand's defense, I thought that maul had been stopped pretty effectively because he called once kind of late. I thought that was time to call second, honestly. Use it.
To be fair, he had a job. That was a tough job.
It was a really hard game to
because both those teams, especially in the breakdown, there was hands and feet and bodies everywhere.
Oh, it was like one of those Looney Tunes whirlwind of fights, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. Guys are just coming in from the sides, coming
on both sides,
diving into it, like grabbing it on the ground, grabbing arms.
Just pinning guys down off the ball and stuff. Yeah, loads of that.
Just whatever they could do. Like, both teams were just whatever. And he let a ton of shit go.
Yeah, and you have to, don't you?
Yeah.
You have to.
Because it was just like so fierce, like on both sides. And it was probably happening so fast. I'm surprised he didn't get overwhelmed.
Yeah. Maybe he did by the end, though.
Yeah, he might have been ref tired.
He's ref tired.
Yeah, he's just like, how my brain can't.
Did you just coin a new rugby term? Ref tired TM?
He got ref tired. When your eyes are tired because your eyes are moving all over the place.
You just can't take.
And you're trying to calculate all these calls.
When I'm looking at my spreadsheets at work, I'm ref tired. Too overstimulated.
There was just like all the stuff that was going on in the field.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, man, like, what the fuck is the TMO doing? Because they're just so like up in the air what they're going to call.
I think they've told them to back off, but then it feels like they don't know when to step in now. They don't know. Yeah. Should I say something? That was kind of.
I think they're only calling dangerous stuff.
Maybe.
So if it's dangerous, they're going to like pitch in like, hey, there was a dangerous tackle. There was a dangerous entry here. But otherwise, other things, like they're staying out. I guess that's, I don't know. I guess that's good.
They're rebalancing things, obviously, behind the scenes there. I think there's something going on where they're sort of saying we need to do this more and this less. And we obviously don't want to tell us. We'll be talking about this in 20 years, though. We'll be talking about the same shit in 20 years. So, get used to it.
Yeah, they're never going to get... It's
never going to... It's too complicated. And you were right. Like, at those breakdowns, and it was the same... I thought the same in the South Africa-Ireland game. There's so much shit going on in the breakdown from both sides. Mm-hmm. Like, you either have to blow your whistle every single breakdown for the first thing you see, never mind the second or the third, or you just have to think, that wasn't that bad, let him play on. Right? You have to decide as a referee... what is your line of acceptance? And that sucks because we're not never going to be consistent then.
That's
because every referee has a more or less line of what they deem acceptable in a ruck.
Because you wouldn't be able to watch the games with sound on because it would just be a constant whistle.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, it would. Just like tinnitus, just going the whole fucking time.
It'd be like the fucking the FIFA World Cup when it was in South Africa with the vuvuzelas.
Yeah, they totally ruined that whole fucking tournament. Yeah,
that's what it'd be like. Just one big loud whistle. You're right. You're totally right.
Yeah.
You can't have it like a ref has to let things go because.
Yeah. Or you're a complete dickhead for the first 5 minutes of the game. Like you've yellow carded someone within 2 minutes of the game. Yeah. And everyone's like, Jesus Christ, we better be well behaved in that breakdown.
Yeah.
But that kind of also ruins it then, doesn't it?
Or like if one team's kind of playing by the rules a lot and the other team is fucking around a lot, then you should start calling them out. Like
I do think refs are good at that these days. I do think when one team is getting away with something more than the other, they are pretty good at resetting the balance, you know? The stuff that's marginal especially in the breakdowns. They do it very good at that, you know. But you shouldn't have to be. You shouldn't have to balance out how much cheating one team is allowed and the other isn't. And I'm not saying that's the ref's fault. This is just rugby. Welcome to rugby, you know.
So what about Borthwick in England? What do you think this series says about him?
I think he's totally fine. I think he's done a lot. I think sticking with Marcus Smith was the right idea because he's showing faith in the right people. And I can start to see England's attacking game plan as much as, it does look boring.
Bring in Finn Baxter in, that kid.
Finn Smith?
Babyface. No, not Finn Smith.
Oh, the prop. Sorry, yeah. He's
Baxter.
A revelation.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's class.
He had the most tackles in that game.
Yeah.
Seeing him.
Yeah, and I thought, you told me before we started recording, you were like, there's a bit of honesty from Borthwick because he finally said, we've got a problem at tight head. And that seemed a bit like, Borthwick. Oh, it's not like you.
I think...
It's right though, isn't it?
I don't think the players aren't there. I think he may have overlooked some props.
I don't know. I don't know if some of those guys who scrum well in the Prem are international standard. We'll never know until he plays.
Because I have no doubt there's some like really good props.
Yeah.
Sitting in the Prem that I believe that Borthwick is just overlooked.
Maybe. He's spoiled. Bene Abano, I would love to see in England, but he's suspended, isn't he, for a little while because he got a red card in the Bath final in the final.
So they probably would have wanted him in there.
I wouldn't have been surprised.
Is he a tight head?
I can't remember. You're going to be asking me in 20 years. Do you know what a tight head and a loose head is? I'm going, not really. Don't care.
Yeah, there was a few I think I'm not too worried about them having a prop crisis because I feel like there's guys in the Prem that are there. Yeah, Borthwick probably just overlooked them.
Kyle Sinclair and Ellis Genge are guys I really like, and they by their own admission have let England down a couple of times. They're so hard on themselves though. Props if you have a bad day at the office as a prop, it's so obvious. It's like a shitty fullback, isn't it? Mm-hmm. It's so obvious. But props age well. It's the best aged position. Do you know what I mean?
It's because their bones are all calcified. Yeah, with all the damage,
they just become lumps of stone by the time they're 35.
They have no mobility. They're just like their bones are rock hard.
Yeah, but that's a good thing for a prop. If you're not moving at all, you're not going backwards, are you? Yeah. So fuck it.
Because I don't know how they can. I don't know how. I don't know. There needs to be some kind of MIT research on this, how these motherfuckers can get better with age.
It's mass
because they should be dead at 30.
Yeah, and I think mentally they are, right? But they're just mass. It's just it's a pulsy rock basically,
Because they even get technically better.
They do because scrums are about lowering your shoulder 2 inches to the right and driving in at slightly the wrong angle. Right?
Look how fit Dan Coles is.
Yeah.
And he was good. He wasn't bad.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was just, man, he's 36, 35.
Yeah, they just get better and better. Yeah. I think I always thought when I'm coaching as well, if a kid has come out to training and they have either got a background in gymnastics or wrestling or something like jiu-jitsu, I know they're going to be good. Anything where, particularly things like wrestling and jiu-jitsu, if you're just used to grabbing things and shoving and grunting, while you're on the ground with your legs pumping, because you've done a drill in rugby, right, where, you'll run for a bit, you'll do a little running drill, you're a bit tired. But if you do any kind of drill where you're running, then you tackle, then you get up and run, then you tackle, that is exhausting. And that's what props do, right? They run around, tackle, then they wrestle for a bit, then they run around and tackle. That is harder work than fucking anything on the field, So that's where they get better.
I guess doing it over and over and over and over and over
for 20 years.
I think that England was missing Furbank a lot.
Yeah.
Having him out was a big thing. What's his name? It's Freddie Stewart. Yeah, he's good under the high ball.
Yeah. He doesn't offer a lot though.
He doesn't offer a lot.
Some people have said they wouldn't mind him at centre, I heard.
He just his attack, his Furbank was all over the field last game. And then
and he pops up as first receiver and stuff, doesn't he? Yeah.
He gets involved more. He's kind of He kind of reminds me of
Willie LaRue
or James Lowe.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
James Lowe's just involved in everything.
Yeah, that's true.
In the game.
Yeah.
Furbank is a lot like that too.
Yeah.
Right? And he was missing him was a big thing. What else can I say? That Talea guy is unreal.
Very good. Yeah.
Like he's hard to tackle.
Yeah, he's a pinball.
They must
wasn't
grease
he?
him up
Oh yeah.
before he like goes on the field. They must just lather him
They
in
all
Vaseline. And
throw him in the paddling pool full of Vaseline, then slap his ass, spin him around, and like they're all like hooting, like, get out there, Mark.
yeah,
Woo!
yeah, because he's good. Too. Oh man, I don't know
Yeah.
about the All Blacks team didn't look too much different than the one that was at the World Cup.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised. I thought I heard this raft of retirements, but there's a lot of the old guard are still there and playing well. So, who's the Finn on? Who I keep forgetting this guy. The Ginger 9 for New Zealand is also a Finn.
Oh, Finley Christie.
Finley Christie.
I think that's his name.
Most tackles in that game.
Yeah, he went out. He got injured.
Yeah.
And then they brought in this Crusaders. I think he was from the Crusaders. This kid.
Mm.
Yeah, and he played really well.
Yeah.
And he sped the ball up
Yeah.
a lot. Like he was fast.
Yeah, him and Barrett coming on. Genuinely, I honestly, and as much as we've implied that New Zealand were always going to win that game, they were deserved winners. I thought until Bowden Barrett came on, I thought, England are going to edge this.
Having him at fullback, I thought worked really well. Because D-Mac, like he's dangerous. And I think what am I trying to say here? Is that I think a little more time with Damien McKenzie. I wouldn't swap him out because I know a lot of people have been saying like, oh, you got to get Bowden back at 10.
Yeah, you can do both.
You could do both.
Yeah, no
Or
problem.
swap them like how it used to be.
Yeah.
Have Bowden back at 10.
Yeah.
D-Mac back at 15.
Yeah, yeah.
But I like this setup. They look good.
Yeah, yeah.
So I like to see the Scott Robertson hopefully keep that.
Yeah. Do you know what I always find funny about Bowden Barrett as well? Like, when he gets the ball with about 5 meters of space, he does the same thing. He just runs really fast, looking forward without any angle in his run whatsoever, and it always seems to work. Like, all he does is run in a straight line really fast. That's his thing.
And then guys like miss him.
Yeah. And it's like, how is he? He doesn't change direction.
No.
He just does this.
Yeah.
And he just slices through people. Like, is he just really fast? Like,
I think he's like super fast.
I guess obviously he's really fast, but it's like, people talk about him like he's got some mysterious talent and he's stepping and backflipping. No, he just runs really fast in a straight line and then passes it to the wing.
I think it's like some kind of magic aura
Yeah.
he has like over him when he starts running because guys will just like miss him.
Yeah. I know. They just slide
And
off
he hasn't
him.
even changed angle
No,
or
he's
anything.
done nothing special. He looks where he's going as well. He looks directly at the point in the try line he wants to get to and just fucking runs.
Guys like
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
flying all over him. They can't
Yeah.
catch him.
But I used to play five-a-side football, right? And we had this guy on our team, and whenever we'd go down a few goals, he'd go, fuck it. And you just get the ball and run in a straight line towards their goal. And just because of the pure, scary determination on his face, it just worked every time. And he would just toe poke it straight into the back of the net. And that's the vibe I get from Bowden Barrett. It's not just the speed, it's like some
fear.
kind of insane fury.
Everyone gets afraid of him.
Yeah, it's just like, Jesus fucking Christ, look at that guy.
He's not even that big of a guy
No,
either.
he's not. He's just like, there's just some kind of scary power in his run, Because get the fuck out of his way. He's going to cut you in two. I wouldn't be surprised if he did like a Naruto run with his holding the ball behind, just slicing through everyone in a straight line. But,
So what else do you want to say about this game?
I don't know. I think to summarize, New Zealand, I think, will win the rugby championship based on what I've seen. And I think England are in a good place. I think this was a good tour for both of them. And yeah, England are going to be gutted. They lost 2 games that they could have won, both of them, in certain aspects. But I wouldn't be worried if I was an England fan. They look in good shape. Yeah,
I'd be pretty confident. I know there's a lot of talk in New Zealand about like they're not happy with these performances.
No.
They're not.
That feels disrespectful to me.
It is super disrespectful.
I thought England were pretty good,
Yeah, they wanted to smash. They were expecting like a. They're not happy unless there's like it's like a 50-0 scoreline.
That's what I'm saying, right? It never felt like it was getting away, that scoreline, did it? It was always close.
Yeah, so like they would be but that's what like Kiwi fans want.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's a complete failure.
Yeah.
Almost
Spoilt babies.
And it doesn't matter who they're playing. They could be playing fucking
Ireland or South Africa. Or...
No, not even that. They could be playing like I don't know,
The Harlem Globetrotters
Hong
of
Kong
rugby.
or some shit.
Oh, I see.
And just run up like 100,
Yeah.
100-point score, and
Yeah.
they're just like ecstatic, like fucking what a game.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
I was
yeah,
on the edge of my seat.
yeah.
You're like, what are you talking
The other
about?
team's fans have gone home, and you're there like screaming. Like,
Yeah, they're like, yeah, we fucking
Yeah.
destroyed Hong Kong,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
102 to nothing.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah,
The ga-
all blacks, you know.
I think they played Namibia in the World Cup, and obviously they wrecked them. And the fans were like, "Fuck yeah, boys! What a performance!" I was like, "Really?" Like, yeah,
Yeah, like that's not even a game I'd get up to watch.
yeah, yeah. I know.
And they're like losing their shit.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, let's go to the next game. Wales, Australia, your boys.
Oh, my Wales.
Your boys in red.
Oh, I'm just getting tired of saying the fucking same. Oh, it's good. Oh, it's so exciting. There's so much promise in this team. Fuck off.
I don't know how many times Gatlin is in interviews is going to say the line, yeah, we're going to have to go through some hurt.
Can we stop going through hurt? Can you stop hurting me?
Yeah,
Wales?
you know, I say we're going to have to go through some hurt. Like, I don't know how many times I've read that fucking line.
Oh, I know.
Or heard him say that line.
That is a perfect summary of how I feel. Like,
We're going to have to go through some hurt.
losing to Italy was a bit like, oh, that hurt. That really fucking hurt. But we've got to go through some hurt. And then that first test was like, oh, we're going to have to go through. That second test actually played pretty well by our recent standards. And I thought, probably people won't like me saying this, I thought they were a better team in a lot of ways. But we just made some fucking stupid mistakes and gave Australia 2 cheap tries, you know?
I thought Australia played better.
They both teams played better
They
than they
looked
did in the
better
first
than the
test.
last game.
Genuinely,
Yeah.
yeah. Genuinely.
So Schmidt's
yeah.
got some. You got to remember too, like the Super Rugby this year. There was a lot of Aussie teams beating New Zealand teams.
I was just going to say
it wasn't like a
Yeah.
completely like Aussie fuck like it usually is.
No.
Um,
Aussie fuck TM.
well, yeah, you watch every Super Rugby
Yeah.
like season, and it's just
And it's
like the Kiwis just
the
beating
Western
the shit out of
Force
the
0,
Yeah.
the fucking Highlanders 46.
and you know
isn't
who's
it?
gonna win it. Like
Yeah.
there was a little bit of spice right to the end.
There was.
Yeah, so these players aren't like Australian rugby is
They're
like
not
picking
scrubs. They're not scrubs. Their U20s just beat Wales today or yesterday as well. So, you know, another bit of hurt that we've got to go through apparently. And then Wales under 20 women also lost to Italy. So another bit of hurt, which is nice.
You got to go through some hurt.
So there's some, I'm, you know, every day there's a bit more hurt in Welsh rugby, you know. But I guess I've got to go through it. I guess you are right though, and that's why I never wanted to write Australia. I was never confident about this series that much because I know Australia is shambles. But you're right. The opposition they're playing is very good, and they're beating them. In the URC, meanwhile, yeah, the opposition we're playing is also very good, but we're getting fucking hammered by them. By the Ospreys, who we've picked 0 of. Not
See,
0, but...
I was the opposite of you. I thought they were going to win this series. I thought they were going to win both games.
Yeah.
They've been together longer.
Yeah.
You know, they've steady coaching. I thought they weren't bad in all their games. I thought things were going to come together in this tour.
The key difference for me was, and why I would have disagreed with that, is because, yeah, Australia have a similar, but not quite the same level of inexperience as Wales, but they still have on the field a couple of like old guard, very good players, like Valentini, Slipper, like even Andrew.
But they still had a lot. I forget what it was. It was like 13 uncapped players.
Right, but we have got 0 of our old heads, right? If you think about it, like we have got 0 experienced players on that team. They have 3 or 4, and that does make a difference.
What about Schnauzer there? Big nose.
Yeah, exactly. Who are you talking about?
What's his
Gatland?
name? No, he's playing fullback.
Liam Williams?
Yeah, he was there.
But if Liam Williams is your experienced old head, that's a problem. The guy's a lunatic, you know? He'll have a fight with you for a laugh. You know, he's not like your sensible... leading from the front kind of, and the thing was, he was great, and he did provide those moments of calm and certainty. But he copied exactly what James Lowe did, right? Jumped up, tried to throw it back in, gave Australia a cheap try. That's inexperience. You know, you shouldn't be doing that at that level.
Who's the starting hooker for Wales?
Dewi Lake, he was class. Yeah, he was very, very good.
I'm hearing a lot about him lately.
Yeah, he's very, very good, and I think he's probably bought himself a lion spot with particularly that last test performance. So if I was picking guys from the Wales squad to go on a Lions tour, it wasn't a lot of them. It was probably Wainwright, maybe Tommy Reffel, and now I'd include Dewi Lake in it. Whereas before, his injury record has been
you
quite bad.
wouldn't choose Dav Jenkins?
I don't. It's not because he's bad. I just think there's better locks in the British and Irish countries, you know. And like, yeah, he's good. And Chris Chunza actually showed me he can be a test player. And this is cliche because everyone said it by now. But I thought for a guy his size and athletic ability, he wasn't quite putting in performances. But the last 2 games, him and Chunza as a lock pairing now, like, okay, we found a lock pairing. That was a positive, actually. I do feel there's a team there. Before, it felt like a weird soup of freaks and children. And now it feels like, okay, I see the team. And it's good because I see the team in various parts of the field, like lock pairings. I would say except for the center pairings, which Gatland, I don't know what the hell he's doing. Because we've got good centers coming through. He just doesn't know what position to play him in. Like Mason Grady, I think, is more of a 13. I think probably Owen Watkin is about a 12. So those pairings elsewhere are starting to look good. And I thought Ben Thomas, I think that experiment was worth it because even if we do pick Sam Costello over Ben Thomas, you know you can put him at 10 and he's good.
You got to safeguard.
And he's actually pretty good place kicker.
And he can play other positions too.
Well, he's a much better 12, right? So now we know we've got a 12. But it's weird, isn't it? Why, if you have a center problem pairing, why are you playing probably our best 12 at 10, you know? So I'm sure Gatland's up to something and he's got a master plan.
You got to go through some hurt.
I'm tired of going through fucking hurt. Can we just have 5 minutes of not going through hurt? Like, you know?
The only thing about this series is you don't, like, I can't really, like, I can't say, oh, Australia are on the up. Or, you know,
no,
I can't.
I think I can.
I can't, because Wales just, like, didn't, like.
It is like kicking the shit out of Namibia when you're New Zealand and going, we're world
It's not that
now.
Wales are a bad team. I just don't know.
No, they
like,
are.
I don't
You
know
can
how
say it.
good. Like,
we haven't won a game in 9 games. We are a bad team. It's okay to say it, you know? That's not a problem.
I don't know. I feel good for Schmidt. Like, he made him like a mishmash team, chose a bunch of new players, put them together, won a series.
Yeah.
It's pretty good on the scorecards for him.
Solid, isn't it?
Yeah.
Solid, yeah.
For Gatland, what's going on? What happens with Gatland?
Well, let me just tell you how I felt in that start of the end of the first test. I looked at that Australian crowd and the way the Australian players looked with each other, the way they were celebrating, and I thought Joe Schmidt has given Australia exactly what they needed, and that was morale, right? That was something to feel good about. And, you know, even had they lost, I feel like Joe Schmidt knows what he's doing in terms of man management, and he looks like the players trust him and they bought into his system. Whereas in Wales, we're always miserable, rainy fuckers, and we do need a bit of morale and, you know, something good, something to spark us. But some of those guys, I don't think they've won a game in a long fucking time. You know, we just do not remember how to win.
It's not good to develop a losing culture.
It's not, and everyone knows that on that team, right? There was a time when we were hard-nosed bastards who would just stay within a point of you and still just beat you, and we went on like an 11-game winning streak when we won the Six Nations in 2019 up to the World Cup,
Jam
right?
Slam.
Yeah. But but the Jam Slam years for me were Pivac.
Yeah, because you're going to feel like wins just never come.
Right. But I'm talking pre-Pivac, before the Jam Slam, where we won that 2019 Grand Slam. That wasn't jammy. That was hard bastard Wales. We literally forgot how to lose for a time, right? We just weren't going to lose games. Then Pivac came in, decided defense was irrelevant. We'd score a million tries and still lose the fucking game. And now we're kind of in this weird in-between where we've got neither of those qualities. We're not super hard bastards. We're a bunch of children who don't know how to win rugby. And as good as these green shoots are, it's like you can't do anything with that unless you've got confidence. Australia have confidence now. That wins you games. We don't have that. So that's what worries me, despite a lot of positives, you know?
Because I think if Australia would have lost these 2 test matches, I think the same thing. You just would have this. It just would have got worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
Now they got something to look forward to. Hopefully they get a win.
Yeah.
I don't know who they're playing first. I think they might be playing the Springboks first. I don't know.
Well, they're playing good teams wherever they play now.
Yeah,
because Argentina just beat France, which is a big deal.
So it's going to be like a big, huge step up test.
Massive.
Yeah.
Because we get smoked by South Africa or New Zealand right now. We're not a good yardstick for the rugby championship.
If Schmidt can take a game against the All Blacks,
that's huge.
That'd be huge.
I just don't think he can. I don't think people lose faith in him. I think the expectation is still pretty low. So, you know.
Because that's definitely a need. Like they need to now. Yeah, this is the big challenge. Now Joe Schmidt has got to go because I think a lot of people didn't know what to expect from the Wales Australia series.
Yeah,
and now that they won, now it's like the real like test comes.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas if you look at Wales,
Yeah.
Who could you say that they're going to beat in the Six Nations confidently?
Right now?
Yeah. Even off the back of a decent performance, I thought.
Yeah,
exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah. We've become what our regions have been for a long time, finally. The penny has finally dropped. All that talk about papering over the cracks, like we've run out of paper. There's just cracks now. You know?
You gotta have a little bit of faith.
Yeah, but I've got to go through a little bit of hurt, apparently. Fucking, my well is empty. You know? Just want to win. Don't care anymore.
You just gotta go.
Call me when you win.
You gotta go through a little bit of hurt.
No, I've been through a lot of hurt.
Just a little bit of hurt.
Don't want any
a little bit more
hurt.
Like another 10 years of hurt.
I think 3 years is realistically how much hurt we're going to go through.
You think Wales need a new coach?
No. I don't think we can afford a new coach.
Spice it up?
No, I think what Gatland's doing is going to work eventually. It's just going to be a long, boring grind.
I have confidence that Wales can do a lot of bad things with money. So if they want to lose a lot of money getting rid of Gatland, I don't think that's off the table.
Oh, no, that was the last group of guys. The new people are boringly predictable with their finances, you know? They're like accountants and stuff, so we'll be fine, or at least okay financially, and we'll have Gatland and we'll go through some hurt, and that's what'll happen for about 3 years. You know, they say like the day is darkest before the dawn, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're about 8 p.m. right now. So
oh my god, you just got so fucking dark.
I'm not saying we won't ever win again. I'm just saying can't see us winning a game in the Six Nations. We maybe beat Italy, maybe beat Scotland. I don't see it. And then we've got to play Australia, South Africa, and Fiji in the autumn internationals. Like, the fuck we beating out of those three?
Ooh.
See, not just a little bit of hurt.
A lot more hurt coming from Wales.
A lot more hurt. England, Ireland, and France are going to be like, Wales.
What are they? They'll be talking. Should they even be in the Six Nations?
Oh, I can't wait for that bullshit. Yeah, let's replace them with Georgia.
They just like, oh man, they do. Like, oh yeah, we'll just get rid of them.
Yeah. After the years of shite we've suffered from Italy and Scotland, and we're the ones who get dropped. Like,
they just drop you guys like right away.
Like yesterday's news, yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, they just don't contribute anything to the Six Nations.
And that's kind of like, in a cultural sense, what is always, you know, Welsh people, we don't have the cultural exports of like Scotland and Ireland and stuff, right? What we've always had for us is like, we fucking love rugby and we punch it well above our weight, and now we've lost that. So what the fuck we got left? So I don't want to go through any more hurt. I just want to win games of rugby. Fucking sort it out, WIU.
All right, let's talk about the last blockbuster.
Oh, the main course. Yeah. That was a good game, wasn't it?
Oh my fucking
I just
God.
talked my fucking mouth off, so you can start, I think, because I bet you have some thoughts. I bet you have some things you want to say.
The best part is the best part about Ireland and the SpringBok series was the Bok fans.
God bless them.
Oh my God.
Yeah, lunatics.
And now they're like,
like
losing their shit. Like if you go to any fucking like South African podcast,
any
rugby
comment
pundit,
section,
and it's, you know, I did see a lot of this comment. I saw a lot of this comment. They were saying the better team won that day. So they're all saying that,
right?
But they're all in this like perpetual.
The chip on the shoulder is back, baby.
Yeah, they're in this perpetual state of trying to convince themselves that they're still number one in the world.
And they are still number one in the world. And they are. And no one doubts it either, right? Nobody doubts it. And they're like, we've got to prove it to everybody. They're like, calm down.
They're like, yeah, we're still the best. We're still number one.
Yeah,
who's number one? We are. And they're just like constantly like everything.
Kieran Frawley had to fucking pull off a minor miracle to beat you. Like, fucking relax.
Yeah, and it was just like, it was so fucking good. Like, every time I turned on something, they were just all debating if they're not like, oh, we're still number one, right? Yeah. We got the World Cup. We're still number one.
Yeah.
Right? Now, these two test matches, I thought both games. I thought Ireland were going to win both games.
Yeah.
They kind of like the first game. I thought Ireland handed it away. The second game started. Ireland came out hot. Like they came out and they were just smashing the box. Like just you got to forget. Like Ireland's like not the biggest team.
What?
Not the strongest team.
What?
But they are. The Irish are fucking tough.
I think they're probably one of the biggest and strongest teams. The guys are huge.
Yeah. Well,
have you seen Andrew Porter's thighs?
Yeah. Yeah, they got big guys. All teams got big guys.
Yeah. But no, they're hard bastards because
they are hard.
They're also massive hard bastards.
They are
though.
hard,
Yeah.
tough motherfuckers.
Yeah.
And they were blowing up the box. Guys were coming off, bleeding.
Yeah.
There's blood, and there's just blood everywhere.
Yeah.
Willie LaRue gets injured.
Yeah.
It's just like, it was just a fucking massacre for the first half hour.
I love how Andrew Porter gets the bleeding out of the way before the game's even started as well. Like, he's just bleeding during the anthems. So he's like, I've got that out of the way. Now I can go fuck people up, you know? And then, people were just limping off that field left and right.
Etzebeth got fucked right up.
Yeah.
What's his name? Mostart?
Yeah, he got fucking mangled, and the poor guy limped off, didn't he? Yeah.
Like, Ireland just put a hurting on them. They just came out the gate. And
it was tit for tat, though. I thought the Springboks were giving it as well. Like, the breakdown was just a pile of... It was like some kind of medieval battle in there, you know, people rolling around in the mud, stabbing each other, you know, like...
These two team styles, are just not a good mix for safety.
They're not a good mix to express what you want to do. I think they've both been very effective at shutting each other down, you know? Because in both of those games, it looks like they're trying to do something and making basic mistakes. What I've seen in both games is both Ireland and South Africa just negating what you want to try and do. They drag each other down to each other's level, but each other's level is kind of the same thing. It's just fucking get in their face and be hard cunts about it, you know? Like,
in the second half of the game, like, Ireland started to just make the worst. It started collapsing.
But that's what I'm saying. I think the Springboks were like, they went in at halftime, but like, they fucked us up. Let's fuck them up back.
There was just bad kicking. There was bad passes.
Yeah.
Like, there was just a bad decision. And I thought this game was going to go the way the first game went. I was like,
it nearly did, though.
It nearly did. It nearly did. And I was like, fuck, like, what is Ireland doing? They're just kicking the ball out, bad passing, getting shitty fucking penalties they don't need to be taking.
Yeah. But they clung in there. They hung in there, you know? But
they made it so hard for themselves. Like, I was just like, why? Like, they had the lead. They put on a good lead.
Yeah.
Right? Now, like, and they were getting the better of the box and everything. And I was like, okay, you just guys had to stay clinical, keep playing your game, and you can see this one out.
Yeah. But it's not as simple as that. You're playing the world champions. They're not going to let you play your game, you know?
Because I just want to show you this thing. Like I think,
you're going to start
I
attacking
don't think South Africa didn't score a try in this game.
Right.
And the final score was 25-24.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, Ireland was just, like, spilling out points.
Yeah.
Spilling out points. And then Andre Pollard, like, if they were doing this last week, because, like, Andre Pollard was missing a bunch of kicks, he's nailing everything.
And I remember, this takes me back to Wales, South Africa semi-final. That's what both Wales and South Africa did. They played a style of rugby where they force you to make mistakes, and they put their best kicker on the field, Andre Pollard, to fucking punish those mistakes, right? That was their plan, you know? And I think they know that because they're trying this game plan where they put less guys into the breakdown and attack so that they can try and expand the width of their attack.
It was different.
But they know that's risky, right? Because Ireland turn over a lot. They turn you over a lot, right?
Yeah. Because it was just, a lot of the penalties were just, like, bad decision-making, like, from the Irish players.
Yeah.
Like, just like, why would you do that? Why did you do that? Like, why you didn't need to, like, why did you go and grab the ball while your hands are on your, like, while you're on your knees?
Yeah.
It's just shit like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just like, as the game was going on, I was just starting to lose hope.
Yeah.
And then Kieran Frawley came out of nowhere, out of the clouds.
The size of rugby balls. Yeah. Descended from the heavens.
And then, because he missed 2 drop goals in the Champions Cup final.
Yeah, he's done that before.
Yeah.
Yeah, and failed. Yeah.
And for him to, like, come out and, like, oh man, he must have felt so
what
good.
A rock star. Yeah.
Like, there's probably no better feeling than to close a game out like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And for you, and to be the person that did it.
I'm so happy for him because, as you know, I've been talking up Frawley a lot, right? I would love for him to start 10 at Leinster a lot more. I think he is not wasted at fullback, but he is a very exciting 10. And to give him a chance anywhere on the field in a starting position is what I would love to see. I like him a lot.
He's kind of a conflicting player because, yes, the fans, the media, all see him like as a 10.
I do. Yeah.
Like, even
I like him as a 10.
Even Farrell has him as a backup to 10. Like, he sees something there.
Yeah.
And Leinster just...
They want to stick with Ross.
They want the Burns. Like, do the Burns like have family members that like pump money into Leinster?
They've got some
They're
dodgy
like the big
pictures
donors.
of Jack Nienaber. It's like, we know what you're doing here, mate. We know you're here to sabotage Irish rugby, so you better place at 10.
Like, he can't go back to Leinster and just like start occasionally at fullback.
I don't think he will now. I think his stock will have risen, not just because of that drop goal, because a single kick doesn't change your career. But I think he's shown enough now to show that he orchestrated that kick. There's like little clips of him telling the boys what to do, right? Fucking couple more phases and then give me the fucking ball. And he just grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck. Didn't just change it. He won it, right? He won it. He knew exactly what he needed to do. And that's reminiscent of Sexton, actually. Remember that game against France a few Six Nations ago? Mm-hmm. They were losing, then right at the minute, Johnny Sexton goes, fuck this.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, everybody does. But that's what Frawley did, right? It's like a mini Sexton moment of going like, this isn't about... this is about me right now, right? I'm going to be the guy who just wins this game.
They're just like a talent-heavy club, Leinster.
Yeah.
It's just too much talent.
They produce a lot of excellent players.
And there's no way he's not going to go anywhere.
What I like about him and Prendergast is that they're like X-Factor players. Whereas I think, to be honest, like I know I shit on the Burns a little bit, but they're a bit more boring and predictable. Yeah, they're good rugby players, but what I like about Ireland is they're changing from being a kind of Joe Schmidt forward, very predictable, very super organized team to being one that can produce exciting moments and some crazy backline moves and some drop goals in the last minute. I like that they're changing that. And for me, he's the guy who can bring that for Leinster and Ireland, right? So I'm super happy for him. Thought he was class. James Lowe, again, like, he's just everywhere, isn't he? And I remember when I was reading that injury list last week and I was thinking, okay, they're going to get fucking mangled by the Springboks this week. Turns out not a lot of those guys were actually injured. Porter was fine. James Lowe was fine, Who's that fullback that's good now? Oh, he stepped up, didn't he? Osborne. Thank you, Jimmy Osborne, yeah. Yeah, he stepped up.
You got to talk about him, too.
Yeah, I am.
Because
that's what I'm doing. He's good.
The way he performed,
yeah.
Jamie Osborne, like he put Hugo Keenan.
He played, yeah.
Hugo Keenan's going to be a little nervous.
Totally.
Because he was dangerous.
Yeah.
He was, and he's involved. He's involved in the attack.
He pops up as a receiver and stuff.
Yeah,
doesn't he?
so much more.
Yeah.
So Hugo Keenan's going to be like, probably watching it. Oh shit!
It's almost like Ireland have accidentally done what they've needed to do for a while, which is force or play guys who are not the first choice.
You say that, but I don't think that's true. I think
you think they wouldn't have picked Hugo Keenan in that second test?
I think they would have picked Hugo Keenan.
That's what I'm saying, though. Now they found another guy who's just as good.
But
and they did
Hugo
it by
Keenan
accident.
was going to be like, but Hugo Keenan's like the best fullback in Ireland.
Right, but we don't know who could be better because they don't play him, right?
I think they would find out when they need him.
Which is exactly what happened. But what I'm saying is, it's not deliberate. It was accidental, I've been saying Ireland need to explore depth a bit more, and the depth they've discovered, Frawley...
when they need it.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, like, that should have been deliberate. It was accidental.
They got good players in Ireland. Like, they're not worried. I don't think they're worried about, like, when they want to win games, they're going to put the best players out there.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? You're not going to trial guys in a big test series like this.
But here's the problem, right? And I think if you are a South African fan who's sensible, you're going, in between World Cups, we try guys in different positions. Guys like Manny Lebok, right? And in the long run, that benefits us. Ireland still pick their best team every single game.
No, they don't.
You think Hugo Keenan wouldn't have been picked at fullback if he was fit? Because I 100% think he would have. They would have picked
for this series?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course he would have.
Yeah. And you've got to remember there's a lot of talk and drama around this series, but ultimately it's meaningless, in the scheme of tournaments. And this is the time, like it or hate it,
no,
that you've got to experiment a bit.
There's so much pride.
Fuck pride.
There is so much pride going on. You see, you don't understand this because you're
going through hurt again.
You're going through hurt right now, so you don't really understand the meaning of a test series. there's like things on the line.
I do. I'm going through hurt. Okay?
Yeah, you're going through hurt.
Another little bit of hurt here.
You're going through too much hurt to understand.
Yeah.
Like what was on the line. There was a lot on the line in this series.
No, there wasn't.
Oh yes, there was a lot of pride.
There was a grumpy Alan Quinlan on the line.
Who's the number one?
Yeah, and it hasn't changed actually, so it's not a big deal, is it?
So there's a lot. You just don't understand because of the hurt. You're going through too much hurt.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, I think Ireland are good at slotting new guys in now.
I don't.
I think that's one of their strengths.
I don't. Couldn't disagree more.
It's because you just hate Ireland.
I just spoke about them very highly. Stop gaslighting me.
You're just mad because you were forced to put a bunch of kids in your team. without So you look at Wales, we just put a whole fucking new team out there.
We've kind of had the same problem, but we've been forced to put 15 guys in new. Have you seen our bench? Like, who are these people? Like, does it even go here? Like, Corey Hill? Are you serious? Anyway, I know Ireland are great, man. I really, like I'm saying, I'm excited for the guys I've been hyping up to get their chance, and I really think they did this weekend.
Like, I thought, like, before the series,
Connor Murray was pretty good as well.
Yeah,
and
Connor Murray.
I was like, Connor Murray, he's not the one. Had a hell of a game.
Yeah, because the mood wasn't like the injuries, the players missing, going into that game.
That's what I'm saying.
There wasn't a lot of hope.
No.
When I saw the team sheet, and even you too reacted to this.
Yeah, 100%.
When you saw the team sheet, there was like a little bit like, you know what, this team doesn't look too bad.
I told you on the Friday when they announced it. Well, to be honest, though, I thought I'd read that Porter and James Lowe were both injured.
They were both maybes.
Right, and that's what I thought. If it's those two as well, I could not see a win. But they were both there, and they both played very well. So it turned out to not be as bad as I thought, basically, But I think Connor Murray...
Blade coming in, not playing a test game forever.
Yeah, but this is when that's supposed to happen.
Yeah, and he
Casual
comes in.
Summer series.
And he fucking, he showed up too.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of positive. Their backs were against the wall in this game, and they came out and just, I think even the box might have underestimated.
I think they did. I think they thought, we've got them now.
Yeah.
They're on the ropes. Let's out-muscle them. And Ireland went, no, fuck that. We're good at this. We're good at out-muscling teams. And so when South Africa came out in the second half, and I thought there was a pretty rough late hit by Jesse Creel on Jack Crowley, actually. Fucking bloodied his face up a wee bit. It wasn't like the most egregious thing, but it was very like, this is what the Boks are going to do now.
I think the first kickoff, Ron Keller just came in and he just smashed. I forget who it was.
Yeah, he was psychopathic in those first 10 minutes, wasn't he?
Smashed the guy. Yeah. He knew something special was going to happen.
Right, and losing Dan Sheehan, and you think, there's a big hole in Ireland all of a sudden. This guy, Ronan Kelleher's like, nope, not today, So they were clearly very motivated. Like, Andy Farrell is doing a very good job of man motivating there.
I would say these are the two best coached teams in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, hard to disagree with that.
And in all honesty, like, either of these teams could have won either of these matches.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like I said, like, it took a moment of brilliance from Frawley to win it. And similarly in that last test, like, Ireland were not out of that game until, like, the very end, were they? So, yeah, they were close. Which I think all of these games, this whole series has been, which I liked. Even Wales losing twice, I think, like, they were close enough games.
I looked at the stats. I can't remember the exact number, but since 2000... These two teams playing each other, Ireland are only one up on the SpringBoks.
What do you mean?
Since 2000,
right?
All the games that these two teams have played against each other,
Ireland
are up one game.
I thought they'd won most of them, bar that last one.
In the last, since 2016. But since 2000,
right,
all the games they played.
Why 2000? That seems random.
I just picked 2000. I was just looking when it counts.
Okay.
Right? I was like, well, let's look at this century. I'm not going to look at like 1956 or something like that.
But 2000. Anyway, whatever.
Yeah, I just was looking at since 2000.
Yeah.
The year 2000.
Since the dawn of the new millennium.
Yeah, since the dawn of the new millennium. In this millennium.
Yeah.
Ireland have only won one more game than the Boks have won.
That's impressive, though, considering one of those teams has won 2 World Cups.
Yeah.
So that's good.
See, that's why there was a lot of line on this, because Ireland is like this, like, what do you call it? Something when someone's on someone's back.
Monkey.
Yeah, the monkey on their back, right? They want, like, the Boks, like seem like the Ireland is this team that just can't completely conquer. Right?
Wait.
They've won World Cups.
Okay.
What were you going to say?
I think Ireland have South Africa's number. Like, they know how to beat them. They're not scared of them.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah,
you're
but
right,
the Boks, like, want to own this, and they don't own it.
Oh, I see.
Right?
I don't...
So, like, they could win World Cups. They could win rugby championships.
Yeah.
But then there's like, well, you lost to Ireland.
I don't think... Okay, the problem here is South African fans, because they buy into that. And you can see the comment section, it's like, it's just a bunch of lunatics hurling their shit at each other down there. And then there's always 1 or 2 Boks fans who are like, I have great respect for Ireland. Don't listen to those other guys. It's like, when there's a big bar and one guy will come in and be like, everyone calm down. We're cool. Don't worry. And then drag everyone away. But they have to do that because there's 10 other lunatics screaming at each other. It's like, and they do seem to have a big chip on their shoulder about Ireland, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like...
but if I'm Rassie, I'm not worried.
Because they can lose. It's like It's like Wales. It's like you with
All the other teams in the world.
Ireland and England. Wales can lose to England, and you're kind of like fuck. But losing to Ireland hurts, right?
They're both the same.
The Boks can lose to New Zealand,
Yeah.
but losing to fucking Ireland fucking hurts them. They fucking hate it.
I don't know. I think
They fucking hate it. Like they know losing to New Zealand like happens.
I still much rather lose to
I feel
Ireland
like
than
Ireland
England.
is a team that they think that the fans think they shouldn't be losing to. They shouldn't be losing to a team like Ireland. They should be losing to New Zealand because they're the best in the world.
I see what you're saying. I do think there's a bit of. I don't think it's just Ireland either. I do think the South Africans are the kind of epitome of the Southern Hemisphere guys going, we don't like that you guys are getting better, right? And look at these test series though. 1 win out of 6 in terms of those 3 series is not a good reflection for the Northern Hemisphere. So all this talk of France and Ireland leading the charge and like making sure the Northern Hemisphere are competitive for the long term still doesn't pan out yet, does it? And that's what I'm saying. It's like you're right in a way because there's a lot of self-conscious SpringBok fans, but I think it's a symptom of the Southern Hemisphere getting a bit nervous
because they're used to like smashing Northern Hemisphere teams.
Right.
It's just something they do.
Yeah,
they do lose to New Zealand because they're like one of them.
But they don't. They expect to, don't they?
They expect to. They know that a loss to New Zealand can happen.
Yeah.
But they, going up to the Northern Hemisphere, they should be smashing these guys.
Historically, they have.
And now
been,
that
right?
there's a team that's coming down there, not afraid of them.
Yeah.
They
don't like that.
And could possibly win a series down there. Like they do not like that. They don't like that. And like the reason why, like a lot of it for the Northern Hemisphere to be getting better at rugby too is because their involvement. Their players playing up there, like they are contributing a lot to Northern Hemisphere rugby.
They are.
I think there's like 1,000 fucking
professional rugby players in Europe that are South African.
Yeah.
You told me that. Yeah, I'm not stealing that stat from you. You told me that, and it's true.
Yeah.
Right.
So like that's a huge contribution to Northern Hemisphere rugby.
Yeah, they feel like they're propping us up. So when Ireland do beat them, they're like, "But we're the ones who are making you good, but not really." I remember when CJ Stander was tearing it up playing for Ireland and all the Springboks were sort of patting themselves on the back. It's like, your best player is South African though, so, whatever. But now it's like so much very good homegrown talent are beating South African teams.
And there's just not enough, like South Africa spits out so much talent.
Yeah, and they always will.
There's almost 1 million players.
They're never going to not
country.
do that, are they? And I think now that they've got not just like the private school white boys winning things, they've got like the whole country's playing for the Springboks and wants to play for the Springboks. That's only going to make them better, which is what we're seeing, right?
Yeah. They're opening up their talent pool more.
Yeah.
So it's inevitable since they have so many talented players coming out of that country, it's inevitable that guys are going to leave and play for other nations.
Yeah.
There's not enough room. Right?
Just bursting with talent.
Yeah, because the guy's playing on the box and then the guy's not playing on the box. Like there's a ton of talent.
Yeah.
Like the bar between the Bok and the guy that's not making the box is not very far.
But that's why their depth is great, right?
Yeah.
Like every position, the depth is really, really good. Having said that though, I did want to say something negative about the Springboks. I thought Faf de Klerk was a bit shit.
That's what a lot of people say. He made some bad choices in that game too. Some of his decision making in that game put the Boks under a lot of pressure too.
Yeah, he's lost his aura a bit for me.
Yeah, I still think he's great.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, but back to what I was saying, like with the talent pool, like South Africa and New Zealand are the only 2 teams, the only 2 nations that like if a guy goes down, like if a Faf starts to fade out, another Faf just comes out of the woodwork.
Yeah. Yeah, very true.
Like those are the only 2 nations in the world where that's going to happen. They just have a conveyor belt of talent just coming out, right?
Yeah.
So they lose a lot of guys internationally, but then there's another guy just right behind him.
Yeah. And I think the weird thing is France and England should have historically been those 2 countries as well.
Yeah.
For the size of their population and the size of their professional leagues, which we should remind ourselves, both their professional leagues are much bigger than New Zealand and South Africa. And ironically, they have a lot of South Africans and New Zealanders in that league, right? So I think if you give it 50 years, I think, the Northern Hemisphere will slowly overtake the South. It's money. It's because of money, right? And population size and all the rest of it, but mainly money. But for now, South Africa you're probably right. They're like, oh shit, Ireland are here to stay. They're not scared of us. But if I'm Rassie, I'm not worried. I wouldn't be worried if I was Rassie.
It's like
Erasmus.
Canada with hockey.
Yeah.
Like the Stanley Cups have been playing for over 100 years, right? The NHL is still dominated by Canadians.
Yeah.
smaller nation,
Yeah.
less people.
And how many Stanley Cups the Canadian teams won in the last 20 years?
Yeah,
Zero.
they won 0 in the last 33
Zero.
years.
Yeah.
Right. So, but the States teams, the American teams are filled with Canadians.
Why? Money.
Yeah.
Money. And I think that's the thing. I think now, France is kind of where the money is. And if they are producing homegrown talent for their domestic teams, which they are.
Yeah, just look at their under 20s.
Yeah, exactly. They destroyed the All Blacks yesterday. So give it another 10 years.
Like France
things will
is
change.
France is becoming like going to become one of those nations where they're just going to have a revolving door of talent coming through.
100%. I think their problem still is their kind of structure, isn't it? Now they've just all these private businesses who just hate each other and don't want to let each other play for the national team and all kinds of internal politics. Whereas Ireland just have this well-oiled top-down hierarchy going on. So when they produce their talent, they keep it and they maintain it, right? They've got a really nice system.
Yeah, because the injury, the risk of injury in Test rugby is huge.
It seems to be getting worse as well.
And as more and more money gets piled into these European clubs, you're right. They're going to not want to have their star players playing for France,
right?
Even playing for England.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, yeah. Because these owners pump a bunch of money into these guys.
Yeah. Right.
It's just going to become more and more expensive for the unions to pull these guys out of the clubs.
Yeah, and that was actually an issue. Wales suffer from this a lot because we have a lot of guys who play in England. They don't release the Welsh players for that first South African game we played in Twickenham. We basically had it was worse than the current team we've got because
you had players that weren't even playing. Their teams weren't even playing anymore. They were already out.
Yeah, exactly.
And they weren't allowed to play.
They weren't allowed, exactly. So we get fucked over by that just as much as the countries with money like France and England, right? Anyway, long story short, if I'm Rassi Erasmus, I wouldn't be worried. He knows he's experimenting. He knows these stakes don't mean anything in the long run. He cares about...
Oh, he wanted this win.
Of course he did. Of course he wanted to win.
He was pissed.
But I'm sure he was. But what I'm saying is it's valuable learning for him.
I think the team is going to change. The team's going to change quite a bit after the series.
Yeah.
I think he put his best trusted guys out there to win this because he really wanted this series because he's been talking shit.
But that's his
for
job.
Months.
He loves it though.
Right?
He didn't give a shit. He's having a rum and coke right now, laughing his ass off somewhere.
He wanted this series bad.
He's already plotting Ireland's downfall by planting coaches in Leinster.
But I think you're going to see a lot. I think in the next 2 years, you're going to see a lot of new box.
Oh yeah, but that's the plan. That was always the plan: win or lose, right? That's what South Africa are good at: cycling out new players. Experimenting with depth in the interim. They want to win the rugby championship. I think if he loses against New Zealand twice, then he's got a problem. And we know New Zealand are looking a bit dangerous already. So he's already thinking, how do I win the rugby championship? Because then he comes under some pressure.
Who do you think is the favorite? Who do you think is the favorite?
It's hard to say because I think Ireland are the best yardstick.
No, for the rugby championship.
Oh no, that's what I'm going to say. Ireland are the best yardstick. South Africa had the best test possible because Ireland are better than England now. So they will have had the best recent experience, but I do think New Zealand are up to something. Their game plan is hard to read still, whereas I think New Zealand will look at South Africa and go, okay, yeah, they've been battered, but we know what they're up to. We know what their game plan is. So it's fun though. It's exciting, isn't it? I think New Zealand will win it.
The thing is, I think like England,
yeah.
They do play a very similar game as the Springboks.
Yeah.
And my thought is that the Springboks are better at that, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
So the All Blacks were already... England gave them a lot of trouble. They struggled with England.
Yeah.
And the Boks are a step up from that.
Yeah.
And an easy, significant step up from that.
Yeah, definitely.
So, that's... I would even though it's nice that the All Blacks win, I think they're
put it this way, right?
there.
Put it this way: if Ireland had toured New Zealand and England had toured South Africa, I think Ireland would have won those tests convincingly, and I think England would have lost both those tests in South Africa. So that tells me, yeah, the Springboks are a step up from England, but New Zealand know what they're doing. They'll know how to prepare for it. Yeah,
because just looking at those two performances and how England was able to bully them for most of the game, the Boks are going to be able to do that way easier, and the Boks are probably going to put points on the board.
Yeah,
That's the thing. Like that's
they
the thing.
know how to kick for three, don't they?
They know how to kick. They know how to get points.
Yeah.
And England struggled with that.
Yeah.
So that's another factor. Like, I think the All Blacks are the ones that are going to be like looking to be like, okay, we really got to step it up here.
Yeah.
Because I think the Boks are like the easy favorites for the Rugby Championship.
I think they're favourites. I think New Zealand will win it though. I'm not saying they'll win both games against them, but I think they'll win the Rugby Championship. You know.
Because that's I can't wait for that.
You seem emotional.
Yeah, I got my heart on the line for the Rugby Championship.
It's turned quite serious.
Just can't wait.
Yeah.
Because like what? So the South Africa in the first game, they go to Australia.
Okay.
So that's going to be Argentina come over to New Zealand. Watch Argentina win it.
Hey, they beat France.
So yeah.
I don't want to talk about France right now. Naughty boys.
But yeah, it's going to be because we're going to have a little bit of rugby for a little bit.
There's always rugby now. This is the new way things. We're going to go to Qatar. We're going to have some rugby. Come back for some rugby.
Because the Rugby Championship doesn't start till August 9th.
That's like 2 weeks though.
It's like
no, it's 3 weeks.
3, I think 4. I don't know. I have to look at the calendar.
What the fuck are we going to talk about next week?
I don't know.
Someone better do something.
We'll change the podcast to something else.
Fuck.
We'll talk about movie trailers.
Seen that Gladiator 2.
All right. You're talking to the friends of Gladiator 2. Your one-stop shop for all Gladiator 2 news.
You want to talk about any of those other results? Because little Georgia beat Japan. Do you hear about that?
Yeah, I saw that.
All right. What do you think?
I don't know.
Do you know what? I was planning to say this, and it was going to be this amazing joke, and it's going to be shit now. But you're going to ask me, how did your team do or whatever? And I'm a Canadian citizen now. And my team beat the mighty Romania. My boys put in a convincing performance against Romania. This is huge. Canada are back.
They're going to sign Kinzig Jones to another 4-year contract.
He won a game, so, I sign winning coaches.
Yeah, why can't you take him back?
We don't want him.
Yeah.
We gave him to you. Keep this guy.
He's like our Justin Bieber. He just forced Kinsley Jones on us.
I mean, he's not
we did with the Americans.
He's not like a tool, is he? He's just a bit. He reminds me of Rob Howley. He's just a bit boring and dials it in.
That's getting into Canadian rugby. That's a whole.
It is a whole other thing. And I do want to say one thing about it though. It's not an easy job, is it? You've got the second biggest country in the world, and your player pool is spread over thousands of miles. It's not an easy job. And Romania beat the US, so I thought it was a good win for Canada. I watched that game. It was very good. The standard was decent. And the guy, I should say my guy, that Ginger 10, fucking nailed a penalty from the halfway line to win it as well. It was beautiful.
See, I didn't even know the game was on.
Fucking hell. Fuck off back to Ireland,
yeah.
Steve.
And you can get into how the MLR is affecting Test rugby in North America.
I think it's the standard is marginally, and I say that with heavy emphasis, better.
It would have been. It would have been more. What's the word I'm looking for? It would have been more convincing if Canada and the United States put up a little bit more of a fight against Scotland.
Yeah.
Right.
Because that is a reflection of the MLR a bit, isn't it?
Yeah. If they would have put up a little. I expect them to lose to Scotland.
Yeah, totally.
But if they would have put up
hammered,
they both got hammered, and if they would have put up more of a fight,
and that was not even Scotland's B team, really. That was a developmental side.
They only scored one try, but the score was 30-7, not 60 or 40 plus.
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. They leak tries, both those teams internationally, but I think the US have more to answer for because it's easier for them to put together a professional international team now because Canada still has a big excuse. Canada don't have a professional team anymore.
No.
Since the Arrows went down, right? But the MLR, you've got 10 professional sides.
The MLR is also filled with Canadians.
It is.
The best team in the league is filled with Canadians.
That's right.
Has the most Canadians in it.
But even those other competitive teams, those are all Americans, right? Most of them. So not firing a shot. They lost to Romania as well, whereas Canada beat them. So it's weird that we're saying Canada are in a better place than the US. That's a weird thing to say given the last 10 years of those two teams' progression, So what the fuck's going on there?
All right, I think we've covered
everything.
everything.
Stop talking. Fine, shut up, Frank. Yeah,
covered everything we want to cover.
Yeah. Poor Japan. Poor Japan and Georgia.
Yeah.
Do you want to just say something nice about Georgia?
No.
Welcome to the Six Nations.
Welcome to the Six Nations. Figured out that New Zealand's got a heavy task against them coming up here. They got to really step it up.
Poor Portugal. South Africa are going to be angry.
Wales have a lot more hurt to go through.
We're going to have a little bit more hurt when we inevitably lose to fucking Queensland Reds next week, yeah.
And Ireland are the number 1 team in the world. The number 1.
Suck it, South Africa.
Suck it, South Africa. Suck it. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, yeah, thanks, friends. You can find us on all your podcasting downloadable apps. You can find us on X. You can find us on YouTube.
Yes.
You always laugh when I start saying this.
When you say X, it makes me laugh.
And you can email us at the Friends of Rugby Pod at gmail.com. And have a good one.
Bye-bye.